Las Fierbinți, in its most recent narrative branch, titled Mafia din Urziceni, captures the essence of Romanian provincial life through a darkly comedic mirror that reflects both absurdity and familiarity. The town of Fierbinți, always on the verge of chaos, becomes the perfect backdrop for a story that feels both humorous and unsettlingly realistic. The episode unfolds not as a simple satire of corruption, but as a study of how power and greed mutate when confined within the narrow borders of a small community where everyone knows everyone. The tone is deceptively light at first. A few drunken jokes at the bar, a game of cards, a rumor whispered between gossiping neighbors. Yet, beneath the laughter, the ground trembles. When Branzoi, the self-proclaimed businessman, begins to talk about new opportunities in Urziceni, we immediately sense that a storm is brewing. What begins as a ridiculous idea of creating a local security association slowly evolves into something resembling a mafia network, but one built not from violence or ambition, but from the very Romanian flavor of survival and improvisation. The brilliance of the episode lies in how the mundane becomes criminal and the criminal becomes mundane. Scenes in which the characters discuss extortion over coffee or negotiate smuggling routes while tending to chickens create a contrast that is both hilarious and tragic. It is not the mafia of Sicily or Chicago. It is a mafia born from bureaucracy, laziness, and small-town opportunism. When Bobița, the eternal dreamer and accidental philosopher of Fierbinți, gets involved, the tone shifts even more. His mix of naivete and cunning turns every deal into a farce. He talks about honor among thieves, but cannot resist gossiping to the bartender the very next minute. There is a powerful scene where he stands under the flickering light of the bar, counting money while humming an old folk tune. The shot lingers long enough for us to realize that his dream is not of wealth, but of belonging. The mafia is not about power for these men. It is about being part of something bigger than themselves, even if that something is absurd. The director constructs each scene with a painter's precision. The dusty streets of Fierbinți are filmed in warm, fading tones, as if the village itself is exhausted by the weight of its own stories. The background noise of dogs barking and women shouting adds an authenticity that makes the viewer feel as though they are eavesdropping on real life. The humor, while abundant, is never innocent. There is an underlying bitterness to every joke. When Ardiles sells fake, imported cigarettes made from dried leaves, we laugh. But we also see a man caught in the endless cycle of trying and failing. He represents a society that improvises its way through decay. The mafia din Urziceni becomes a metaphor for every group of friends, workers, or politicians who start with a harmless plan and end up trapped in their own greed. Each conversation is loaded with irony. When the mayor claims that order must be restored while secretly benefiting from the chaos, the hypocrisy feels familiar and universal. The camera often lingers on small gestures, a nervous glance, a cigarette lit with trembling hands, a forced laugh that hides fear. These moments elevate the episode from comedy to social commentary. The choice to base the story around Urziceni, a nearby town, gives the impression that corruption has a geography of its own, spreading like mold from one village to another. One of the most striking moments occurs during a dinner scene when the characters toast to their brotherhood. The table is covered with cheap wine, mismatched glasses, and plates of sausages. Their laughter fills the room, and for a brief moment they seem genuinely happy. But as the camera pans out, the sound of police sirens cuts through the laughter, and we realize that their illusion of control is about to collapse. This contrast between euphoria and downfall is a recurring theme in Las Fierbinți. It shows how quickly fortune turns, how thin the line between a joke and a tragedy really is. Personally, the episode reminded me of countless small-town stories I have heard in real life, where friendship, greed, and pride intertwine in similar absurd patterns. The genius of Las Fierbinți lies in its ability to make you laugh while subtly breaking your heart. It never preaches, never moralizes, but always leaves you thinking about how easily good intentions can rot when mixed with temptation. The ending of Mafia din Urziceni avoids melodrama. The characters return to their routines as if nothing happened. The bar is still open, the gossip still flows, and the dreams of quick fortune are replaced by the eternal Romanian shrug. Asta e. It is this cyclical resignation that gives the series its power. The mafia, after all, was never truly external. It lived within them all along, in every compromise, every small lie, every empty promise.